have to tell you, this makes my heart really happy to see you all here today. I actually got my start in education as a high school teacher, so you all don't look anything like the kids that I taught. I'll just tell you that now. So I'm David Bowman. I'm the director of this project, Extending Equity into the Digital Workforce, and I'm also the executive director of the Four Corners Regional Education Cooperative #1 out of Farmington. And probably the first thing I would like to say is I envy you. I absolutely envy you. When I was your age, we didn't have smartphones. We didn't have access to the internet. We weren't anywhere close to the web, just flat out not even close to the web. We didn't have tablets. We didn't have personal computers. Matter of fact, I had a buddy of mine in high school who built his own first computer and didn't have a hard drive. It ran off of an old cassette tape deck, which I thought was the coolest thing that I've ever seen in my entire life at that point. We're a little beyond that, so I kind of envy you because these are all things that you have had since day one when you were first born. These things are accessible to you. So we didn't have a lot of those things when I was your age, and that was fine. You know, we had 6 TV channels, 3 of which were news channels and terribly boring, 2 of which were like, I don't know, the kind of movies that my mother would watch. And one, about 10 o'clock at night, would do some sci-fi, which I thought was cool, but it was past my bedtime, so that didn't really work out either. You've got an entirely different world than the world that I grew up in, and I envy you for that. But I will say, as tech has advanced, I've just embraced it, just flat out embraced it. When the World Wide Web was first launched in the late 90s, I pretty much locked myself into a room for like 4 days. I'm like, I have got to learn how to make web pages. All hand-coded, HTML, straight out, learn to make web pages. I've done a lot of programming in my life. I've learned that, and I've learned a pretty wide range of software, some very technical professional software. There's just some fun stuff. I have built augmented reality apps for phones. I have created simulations and designs for nuclear reactors. I've used GPS programming when I ran a timber operation on our place in Virginia. We're cutting down trees. Which ones do we cut? So programming the GPS and using GPS, I have flat out embraced technology in every way. And the newest, coolest stuff coming out now, the AI technologies, holy moly, right? I gotta tell you, it does better than the $10 I used to give my neighbor to write my high school papers for me. It is good stuff. You have an entirely new world. And the funny thing is, just think about the changes from when I was your age to now, which is longer than I'm willing to admit in public. But even you all thinking 10 years in the future, 5 years in the future, 20 years in the future, your world is going to be a lot different than it is now also. So it makes sense to embrace it. One thing we know for sure, even if we don't know what the job market's gonna look like and the expectations and the tech's gonna look like in 10, 15 years, we kind of have no idea. But one thing we do know is that technology in all of its forms is going to be an increasingly critical part of just how we live our lives, do our jobs, and interact with one another. That is for sure. And it's going to be amazing. No doubt about it. It's going to be flat out amazing. But at the same time, well, let me make one more point about that. If you're not embracing the tech and you're learning the new stuff, and you're learning all you can, regardless of what you're interested in. You know, you want to go into education, fine. You want to go into health services, fine. You want to go into agriculture, fine. All those are wonderful. But if you're not embracing the technology, you're going to be very limited and increasingly limited in how much you can do in your career fields. Because that's where the world is and that's where it's going. But that's not nearly enough. So that's just how to get ahead, how to get a good job. The other part is your personal characteristics and your social skills. They cannot be overlooked. The ability to interact with new people, to listen carefully and respond thoughtfully, to come up with ideas and be able to share them, to be able to negotiate when you have differences about things that you want to do, to be able to interact respectfully, to be able to try new things and take those risks. The ability to say, well, that was lousy, that sure didn't work. What can I do? To be able to define problems and to solve problems. Those skills, which are inside of you, are just as important as any job skill, any technical skill you can imagine. Because without those skills, you will never find success in school, in higher education, in the job market, because those are the types of skills that actually help you to succeed. The technical skills get you in the door. But those are the types of skills that help you succeed. So when we look at today, I mean, what is this about? Why are we even here? So today and tomorrow, we are merging both of these together. We're going to look at tech in a lot of different ways and across a lot of different careers. And we're going to explore and we're going to play and we're going to have some fun. And I hope you all are going to be joining us this evening as well for our evening activities, which are going to be flat out a hoot. But we're going to look at it in a lot of different ways. Because ultimately, this is about you today and what you can become in the future. You are amazing kids. I'm going to call you kids because I'm old. You're amazing kids now, and you're going to do amazing things in an amazing world. And I'm counting on you. I have a 4-year-old son. You're going to create the world that he grows up in. So I need you to be your very best. And just looking at you, I have great hope that you will rise to every occasion ahead of you. Embrace tech. Embrace those skills, those characteristics inside of you that help you to succeed and work with one another. Have fun. Learn some cool stuff. And just flat out, just live your lives as amazing people. So thank you all very much for being here. We absolutely 100% appreciate you.